All right. So, welcome to Saturday morning meditation. Um, we have this class every Saturday morning and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And you're always welcome to come. It's both in person, obviously, and online on Facebook and YouTube if you're ever not able to make it in person. So, we are going to start with 3 7-line prayer, which is this first page here. And you're welcome to we're going to chant it in Tibetan. You're welcome to read along in English or just listen. It's all fine. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sa dombola yatsen chogi ngorubne pemma jongne jesurak koru kandro mangpo kor ketki jesu dak druki jinji lok chia shek su so guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sa dompola yatsen chogi ngodrubne pemma jongne jesura kordu kandro mangpo kor ketki jesu dab druki jinji lok chia shek su so guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sar dombola yatsen chogi ngodrubne pemma jongne jesurak kordu kandro mangpo kor ketki jesu dak drupki jinji lok chia shek su so guru pema city home. All right. So we always start by establishing a compassionate motivation for our practice. Whenever we begin any kind of activity, whether even if we're just reading a book or going for a walk, anything we do, we can start by establishing a compassionate motivation. But this is especially important when we're sitting down to do any kind of Dharma practice or listen to a Dharma talk, or we always begin that way. So let's just take a moment to generate compassion, and we can make the wish that our meditation together today will bring a measurable benefit, not only for ourselves, but for all beings. And the meditation that we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation, or Shine meditation, or calm abiding meditation. There's many ways, many names for this kind of meditation. And the instructions that I'm drawing these instructions from the book Stabilizing the Mind from Jetsama Akan Lamo. And if you're interested in reading a primer on meditation, that's a really great book to start with. And Jetsama has taught that meditation is the natural state of mind when it is relaxed, stable, and open. And meditating in this way trains our mind to be both calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. And a lot of times, like nowadays, a lot of people are getting into meditation, and it's common for people to meditate to relax and de-stress. And that's one part of meditation. Those are some of the benefits of meditation. But in the Buddhist tradition, we don't just meditate to relax. We meditate to wake up to reality and wake up to the true nature of things as they are, and wake up to our true nature. In this meditation in particular, the point of it is to create space in the mind. And creating space in the mind gives us, it helps us to balance our emotions. It gives us some room between whatever is happening in our life and our reaction to it. And it's that little bit of space in the mind is also the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. So usually we have such little space in our mind. Anything that happens to us, we habitually react to it. We just kind of bounce off of it in kind of an unconscious way. Like we just react, and usually that reaction is based on some kind of protection of the self, wanting to, just self-concern, wanting to preserve your own comfort or safety or whatever it is. A reaction tends to be based on self-concern. So having a little bit of space gives us room to consider people outside of ourselves. And that little bit of space, that's just the beginning of it. A little bit of space, we start having room for compassion. We start having room for wisdom to arise. And with that little bit of room, not being so quick to react, we also then have more ability, we're empowered to choose our reactions and to react and, to respond instead of react, to respond in ways that align with our values, to respond in ways that will bring benefit in the world instead of just habitually reacting out of our own self-concern. So these are some of the other benefits of meditation. This tradition is not just about relaxation, but this is also a very relaxing meditation to do as well. So if you're watching online, you can sit in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. That's fine. So we'll just get into a comfortable seat with your hands on your lap. Traditionally, we hold one hand in the other like this with the thumbs touching and place our hands right below the navel. But you can also just rest your hands on your lap. We're going to check in with our posture. Your spine is straight. You can imagine a thread going up your spine and out the crown of your head. And you can just tug on that thread to pull your spine up nice and straight. And your shoulders are open, like in back a little bit. Your elbows are out a bit. We're not like collapsed in on ourselves. We have like an open posture. We want to make sure we have a lot of room around our rib cage to breathe. When we collapse in on ourselves, we restrict the breath. And restricting the movement of the breath makes it easier for us to get stuck in our thoughts or stagnate during our meditation. So allowing that free movement of the breath really helps to allow the mind to move, allows our meditation to not get stuck in our thoughts. And then your eyes are going to remain open. And you can look downwards, following the line of your nose. So you can imagine a line going down the bridge of your nose, down, down, down to the ground, and just find a place along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And if you're not used to meditating with your eyes open, it's okay as you're starting meditation. It's okay to start with your eyes closed if that's more comfortable for you. We do keep our eyes open in this tradition because, for one thing, it helps to keep you awake. And also because during our meditation, we're not shutting out the world. We're going to be placing our attention on the breath, but we're not trying to shut out our thoughts. We're not trying to shut out our environment. It's okay that we hear the sounds of our environment. It's okay that we see things around us, and we're not pushing anything away. So we keep our eyes open, but looking downwards. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's kind of like you're saying the letter L. And then allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just breathe in your natural rhythm. And then put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it or try to change it in any way. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. During your meditation, thoughts are bound to come up. Emotions can come up. That's all fine. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. You don't even look to see what they are. Don't check to see if it's a good thought or a bad thought. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So when you find yourself hooked by a thought and following it along, just drop it. Just let it pop and return to your breath. And if it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you can imagine picking them up with spaghetti tongs and dropping them, or you could imagine cutting them up with scissors and throwing them away, something like that. But you always return to that single pointed concentration on your breath. So just return again and again to that gossamer thin attention on your breath. I'm going to just start the timer. For our first round of meditation, we will just sit for 5 minutes and then we'll just take a little break and we'll meditate for a longer period of time. Okay, so just return again and again to that gossamer thin attention on your breath. Hello, welcome. So that's our first round of meditation. I always say if you're new to meditation or you're returning to a practice of meditation after a time of not meditating, it's really helpful to start with short little sessions like that, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, even 1 minute. Fitting in meditation where you can. A lot of times when people start getting into a spiritual practice or meditation, they sometimes people jump in with both feet and burn themselves out. I think like, oh, I'm going to go to a 10-day meditation retreat and I'm going to start there, or I'm going to start with meditating 2 hours a day. And then you find out that meditation is really boring and your butt hurts and your knees hurt and it's just hard. And so it's better to start with something that's manageable, that feels comfortable, and meditate in a way where you want to meditate again tomorrow. Like, something that feels like you can do it in balance with the rest of your life and you're going to want to keep meditating. I like to think of it more as making friends with the practice of meditation. So then we keep a relationship with that practice. And even if we can't practice every day, we maintain that relationship, and you keep checking in and you keep a connection with it. So maybe that's meditating once a week at this class or more often. While you're meditating, if you are finding yourself being sleepy today, one thing you can do is the point where you're resting your eyes. If you're feeling a little sleepy, you can just raise your gaze a little bit. So you're still looking downwards, but just at a slightly higher point. And if you're feeling on the other side, if you're feeling just too busy in your head, you can do the opposite and you can lower your gaze a little bit so your eyes are a little bit more closed. So that's kind of a way that you can help yourself. Sometimes in the middle of meditation, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take a nap. So you can raise your gaze a little bit and that helps you stay awake. And also if you find yourself doing that and getting really sleepy, a lot of times that can happen because of our habit of self-concern and being like, oh, I'm so comfortable and cozy right now and it's warm and I'm gonna sleep. So another way to respond to that is to return to that compassionate motivation and come back to our reason for practicing. And having compassion in our hearts can kind of fuel us and keep us going and keep us awake and engaged. So let's see. So we're going to meditate for a longer session now. Just change the time on the timer. Okay. So let's come back to our meditation posture. Straight back, shoulders are open, elbows are open, hands are in your lap, eyes looking downward, tongue just behind your front teeth. Allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. And then put the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Okay. So that is our meditation. Before we end with our closing prayers, does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. So we're going to. Yeah, okay, great.
How do you sit so long cross-legged without your feet falling asleep? Because mine, every time.
Yeah, that's I find it really it takes some trial and error to find the right cushion to sit on. Like different people are gonna be more comfortable on different cushions. And yeah, like I find I like these ones that are kind of like half moon shaped because I feel like if I'm on a different kind, then my feet fall asleep faster. No matter what, if you're sitting for like a really long period of time, I think your feet are gonna fall asleep. But that's also why it's helpful to just get used to sitting for longer periods of time. And yeah, the cushion plays a big part in that. We have a bunch of cushions here too, and you're welcome to like try different ones.
Do you have to sit cross-legged?
No, you don't. There are benefits to sitting cross-legged. The reason why we have there's like a reason for each aspect of the meditation posture and the way that it allows energy to move through your body and using the body as a stable base for practice. But there's no reason that you can't meditate sitting in a chair. Basically, you can actually do this meditation anywhere you want. And if you're doing it like the way I described the meditation posture is for if you're sitting down, you're going to formally sit down, do some meditation. You pay attention to all of these points. If you're out and about and you want to meditate or you just want to do a quick session, all you have to do is have a straight back and relaxed body. And that's it. You can be sitting or standing. You don't want to do the practice laying down because it's really easy to fall asleep, and that's not as good. But yeah, sitting or standing, straight back, relaxed body. Yeah.
Do people ever move like yoga? Because my hips are really tight, so today I needed to like do hip openers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a thing.
If sorry, what was the question?
Do people ever just do yoga or like move a little bit, or is that not?
Not during the practice. It's definitely helpful outside of the practice for sure. And they're actually in the Tibetan tradition, there's a form of movement that's kind of similar to yoga, but there are some other like kind of stretching type movements that there's practices for that. But yeah, and during the practice, it's we try to keep the body still during the practice. But that's also like if you're finding it difficult to sit for long periods of time, you can also break up your meditation. You could do like 3 minutes, take a break, 3 minutes, take a break. And you could add up more meditation time just by doing it kind of like that. Yeah, it takes time to work with our bodies, and it's not how we're used to sitting, especially in like Western society. We're used to sitting in chairs, and we're not used to sitting on the floor, and it's like a whole different thing. But
I'm used to sitting like this with my feet like this, so that's like so comfortable.
oh, are you like in an M posture?
I usually meditate that way, but I wasn't sure if that was like.
That's they also make these little meditation benches. I don't know if you've seen those, but those can kind of they're kind of like kneeling benches or yeah, like there's different ways to sit. Again, the most important thing is having a straight back and being comfortable. Yeah. Well, let's close with these dedication prayers. This is on the back side of this sheet. And just put those up on the screen for folks online. Okay. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas all together, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Thanks.